Tonight, legalized marijuana is causing confusion for gun owners and dealers across the state. Good evening and thank you for watching. I'm Kimberly Eaton.
And I'm Rebecca Bromfield. Weed and gun ownership, both legal in the state, but people are worried they must choose between the two. In tonight's special report, Eugene Daniel looks into that very issue.
Yeah, there's a lot of anxiety about this, and it raises an important question. When it comes to marijuana and guns, which laws do you follow, state or federal? Right now in Illinois, the rules for people to legally own a gun and use marijuana are hazy.
It's very confusing because we have to realize that the cannabis law violates federal law.
Richard Pearson, executive director of the Illinois State Rifle Association, says phones are ringing off the hook since Illinois legalized pot, and the law is not bulletproof.
It's a good way to get yourself in trouble if you're not very, very careful, and you might be very, very careful and get in trouble anyway.
For starters, to buy a firearm from a dealer, you must fill out this paperwork for the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. It's a federal form, and it asks if you're an unlawful user of marijuana, making sure you know both medicinal and recreational use still illegal under federal law, no matter what your state says. And that's enough to stop federally licensed gun dealers from making the sale.
So if a gun dealer would ever sell one that marks that as they're a habitual user or addicted or whatever the question might be that day, they could go to jail for that. So they're not going to do that.
We need to make this clear that those using cannabis lawfully in the state of Illinois are not going to be precluded.
Attorney Jeff Hall says legal marijuana users might feel pressured to lie, risking up to 5 years in prison. Hall has a similar issue with the state police website for FOID card applications. Though it makes exception for medicinal card holders, it basically lists the same question, also pointing out federal law.
If you are one of these excited people that wait in line on January 1st and you were first in line and got your cannabis, and then 4 days later, you're like, oh, I'm going to apply for my FOID. You cannot answer that question legally or honestly if you went and used the cannabis that you bought legally under the state laws.
Illinois State Police, posting its policy on Facebook, says it will not revoke FOID cards based solely on legal use of marijuana, but it doesn't specify whether pot-smoking applicants would be denied. The policy also raises other questions, saying state police will revoke FOIDs if a person is addicted to or a habitual user of cannabis. But how will either of those be determined? Experts say there are still too many questions about marijuana addiction.
Even in the research, a common issue is how you define a heavy user.
Both Pearson and Hall want more clarity for their clients, and until that happens, they're worried the police wield too much power at their discretion.
I want to trust them, but I think the only way to ensure that wouldn't happen is to codify it in law.
I'm still waiting to hear back from state police, but the ATF did get back to me, and you can see that response and more on this issue, including a way the ISRA says a marijuana user can buy a gun with no current concern. That's over on our website, ciproud.com.